Today we're working on phase 2 of our sprinkler system upgrade. Hey guys, and welcome back to Horticulture Geek. I'm Ray. Thank you so much for joining me today here in the garden. As you are aware from our intro, we are working on our sprinkler system today. Yes, we are working on the sprinkler system in December. We are the week between Christmas and January right now, and it is a perfect time to be working on the sprinkler system here for me in zone 7-8, right on the border, because it's warm enough that my ground is not frozen, but all of my perennials and flower beds have been cut back, and it's easy to see what I'm doing in my flower beds because I don't have a lot of vegetation in the way. So this is the time of year I like to work on projects like this. Part 1 of this sprinkler system upgrade is where we replaced our box, our control box, our computer box that actually controls the system. And if you want to go back and see that video, I'll link it over here, and I'll also put it at the end of the video. But today we're doing our first actual in-ground switch out of a sprinkler head to a drip system. And I have already dug the hole, and we're ready to look at our install. So if you'll join me down here on the ground, we can show you what we're working on. All right, so if you'll see down here, you can see I've already got the hole dug out, and this is what I'm working with right here. So this was my existing sprinkler head right here, and it was positioned right here on the corner of this bed, and you can see it was connected up right here, and I've already cut it. And now to cut it, all I used was a standard PVC pipe cutter. You can pick these up for under $14 at any home improvement store if you don't already own a pair. And they just snip right through the plastic, real simple and handy. So I've already taken it from here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking off the pop-up sprinkler head. So this is just a traditional pop-up sprinkler head that fans water out onto the ground. And I'm replacing that with a drip system, okay? So now that I have my old sprinkler head off of here, and when you take yours off, if you do this, you should have a threaded end that sprinkler head attaches to. So next, I'm going to need a coupler, and then a leg, and then that will connect to my sprinkler head. And I've already got one worked up here, so you can see that's exactly what I've got. A coupler, an extension leg, and then my drip sprinkler head. And I've already got this tightened up really good. Now you do not use any glue or Teflon tape or anything like that on these connections because they're made to come on and off. If, you know, a year down the road you want to switch this out and go back to a traditional sprinkler head, you can do that. So when you take your traditional sprinkler heads off or work on a traditional sprinkler head, it should not be glued or Teflon taped on, just so that it can go right onto the pipe. All right, so if I was going to leave this right here where it was, I would have to run my drip tubing all through here where it can be seen. So what I have chosen to do is like you see, I excavated out and I have cut the pipe. So I am now going to be fitting a corner bracket on here and moving my fitting connections over there out of the way so that they will be hidden by pots and plants. So now that I know where I want this head to go, I just have to connect it on here. And to do that, let me put on my gloves. Okay. So now that I have my gloves on, we're going to be using our standard PVC pipe cleaner and pipe glue to adhere our connections on the PVC pipe. And this stuff will drip on you, which is why you want to wear gloves. So we clean the pipes first. And now we can glue them up. So just push on and give it a little twist. All right, give that a second to set up, and then we'll do the other side. You can cut. All right, so I've let that set just a minute, and it just takes a second for that glue to harden up. And so now I'm gonna go ahead and do my other side. And then just push on and twist. And right there it is. So now I've just got to hold this in place until it dries. All right, guys, so now that I've got my pipe in place, my fittings are secure, and I've got the sprinkler head adjusted. So here's how it works. And I've got my extra one here so I can show you. So all we're gonna need now is our drip tubing, and this is just solid tubing with no holes in it. And these literally just push right on to the ends of our adapters there. And we can zoom in on that. So the tubing literally just pushes on to the adapters. And so this particular model gives you 6 lines that you can run to different potted plants, trees, shrubs, whatever you want to individually water. The tubing comes in nice coils. And then at the other end, once I attach it here, I've got my dripper. This is a 1 gallon per hour dripper. You can get a 1 gallon, a 2 gallon, even a ½ gallon per hour drip tube or dripper, and you just push that onto the other end. Just like that, it just all snaps right together. And so this will take me from my sprinkler manifold to my plants, so that now I can individually water each of my planters, pots, and containers without having the waste of a traditional spray fan sprinkler system. All right, guys, so that is how I'm going to be handling this particular section of my garden, which will really benefit me well if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, or if you've looked at old garden tours. This corner right here, I have lots of pots and planters in, and so it's going to be very handy to have all of these pots and planters hooked to my irrigation system now, as opposed to having to hand water them every single day. So if you are in the same situation and you have a sprinkler head that really is not serving you much purpose, or maybe it's near some planters that you have, you can do this exact same process. And now keep in mind, I moved the position of my sprinkler head to fit my needs, but you don't necessarily have to do that step. If you want to just take off your traditional sprinkler head right where it is and put on a different type, that is okay to do as well. Do whatever works for you and your garden. So now all I have to do for this is bury my pipe back into the ground, get this bed smoothed out, and then start pulling my pots and plants back over here that remain out here for the winter. I hope you have enjoyed this installment of my sprinkler system upgrade. I know a lot of people have questions about sprinkler system upgrades, and this is all 1/2-inch standard pipe. That will help you out as well. Most traditional pop-up sprinklers, most, not all, work on a standard 1/2-inch pipe size. And so all you have to do when you go to your plumbing supply store or big box store is look for the 1/2-inch connectors, but check your system first to make sure. And then it's really not a lot of parts and pieces that you need for each individual head to do a conversion. The next part of my system here that I'm going to be upgrading in a future video is actually converting a pop-up sprinkler head to dripper hoses. So we're going to be using 12-inch spaced tubing in the vegetable garden area. So we'll actually run drip pipe through the vegetable garden and hook that up in place of a sprinkler head as well. So tune back in later, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can catch that video when it is released if you like this series of irrigation videos. I think that's going to wrap it up for today. I hope you have enjoyed this segment of the video on the sprinkler system upgrade. Give me that thumbs up if you did. But until next time, guys, from my garden to yours, I wish you all the best and happy gardening.